welcome back to Life on Summerhill. I am so excited that it is sun shining and not storming outside. And I'm here with you to talk about another vintage item today and how to decorate with it. And today we're going to talk about enamelware. And I've got a few pieces. This is one. It cracks me up that the label is still on this. See that old label? Isn't that cool? But I've had this piece for a couple of years now in the attic, and I bought it and used it for a Christmas decoration. But I'm going to talk about fun ways you can decorate with enamelware. We're going to talk a tiny bit about history. Sorry for all the noise. We're going to talk a tiny bit about history because most of that's in the blog post that I'll link in the description. But I'm going to take you through the house, give you some ideas on how to decorate with it, ideas on what pieces you can use to decorate with and where to decorate with. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you about a tornado or high wind storm. Let's get started and we will wash these pots and do a little flower arrangement in one. So one thing I wanted to tell you was I have some old pieces as well as new pieces. Hearth and Hand this year has a couple of enamelware pieces on their summer collection, and they're really pretty and they definitely have a summer vibe because the color on the rim is yellow instead of the traditional red or blue or black. So I picked up a few of those pieces and I'm going to use them as a part of my summer decorations in my kitchen. But for now, let's clean up these pots with a little bit of hot water and Dawn dish soap. I can remember when I was growing up that my grandma had one of these in the sink, and she would put water in it instead of filling up the whole sink with water to wash her dishes. She would fill up this little enamel bowl, and she had a very large, like cast iron sink, large enough as a child we could bathe in it. Okay, so for this little pot, I'm gonna put it on my disclaimer. This is summer decorating, and in the summer is 4th of July here in America. And when you are decorating for patriotic holidays like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, President's Day, any of those, you decorate with red, white, and blue. So this pot, lucky for me, it has a little red rim, so it'll be perfect. But I'm gonna put some summery looking flowers. I'm gonna put some chamomile in here for now, and I may even keep that in here for later, but I'm gonna put it on my dining table right in the middle. Now, instead of putting water in this, I'm going to put something down in it and then sit them in that water. And then that way, this is going to be a lot of water to fill it up, but it'll also help contain it in the top. So let me get that. So I'm going to try two different ideas, and this is one that I was using to hold the flowers in. So I'm going to try this idea, and it may make them stand too straight. I'm going to see if I have something with a wider neck that might work down here. Okay, I have this, but the neck on this is not much wider. It's pretty much the same. So this would be the better one. So let me see if I have something else. I might use a bowl. Yes, I'm gonna try the bowl first. So for those of you who are new, I keep this basket in my kitchen because right out my door over here is my herb garden. And I changed the way I eat years ago because I have an autoimmune disease and I started really getting sick eating a lot of processed food. So I had to go more natural. And so I keep this basket to go cut flowers. And I have these pruning shears in here. And then I also recently in the dollar spot got these herb cutters. So we're gonna try those herb cutters on these flowers and see if it cuts. It may be too much for this, but we're gonna try it. Okay, so a little trick I have when I do flowers is I hold my vase up here and then I sit my flowers to determine the bottom. So I would cut above my finger here to get the height I want. So let's try these herb shears and let's see how they do. Oh, they did great. These are great. Again, I found these at the dollar spot at Target. I like them a lot. If you don't have a Target, see if you have a friend that can pick them up for you that does have a Target. Okay, that's laying down way too much. So I'm gonna go to this one. Let's try this. I'm gonna go to the dollar store and get me a different kind of vase because this, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I want them to stand up a little bit so they're not gonna lay on the sides. There's my flower arrangement. Just like a bundle of fun flowers. So, I'm actually leaning at your direction for now because when I get the right kind of vase with a wider top, it's gonna make this lay out just a little bit more. So it'll look more like this rather than like that. We're gonna go with this side for now. So let's go put it on the dining room table. I keep this little piece of wood on here. So we're gonna try it on this little piece of wood first, see if we like it. I may decorate more stuff on the wood later, but for right now, we're just gonna sit it on here. Okay, so that gives you one idea to use a bowl to decorate with flowers. Now, another thing you could do is you could use a pitcher to decorate. In my rocking chair room, I have a enamelware pitcher hanging on the wall. And sometimes I'll add flowers in this too, and it just looks perfect for decorations if you have any kind of hooks in your kitchen. Oh, and I want to show y'all, I just found this like breadboard. I think it's more like of a pizza board that you slide under your pizza. This one here, I just found it at Goodwill, so I'm super excited about that. But here's something you can do with a pitcher. You can hang it on some hooks in your kitchen, in my case, sitting area in your kitchen, or you can put flowers in it. You can leave it plain, or you can put flowers in it on your dining room table. Now, since we're already up here on this area, I wanted to show you an idea with a tray or a platter. So this is a tray that I picked up at Hearth and Hand. I love it because it has such a summer vibe to it with the yellow trim. And you don't normally see yellow trim on enamelware, or at least I haven't. So let me know if you've seen yellow trim. For this project, all I did was added some flowers, and these are from Hearth and Hand. They're artificial. And all I did was bend it up at the top, and I had to bend it in like a square. And then I just laid it over it, and that's all. To show you that's not enamelware, but we have a new design in our Etsy shop. If you change out a piece of art in your kitchen every season, holiday month, here's a cute one for the summer. so let's clean up this mess because I have another hearth and hand piece that's gonna go here and I wanna show it to you, so let's clean this up real quick. Okay, so this is the pretty bowl I found. It's a colander and it's really big and it's perfect to put your fruit in. Okay, so I have one more enamel piece that I picked up at Goodwill just this week. So it's not in the blog post and you're getting to see me do something with this little green one. Isn't this cute? I think this is a loaf pan to cook bread, like a tiny loaf of bread. And I really thought it was pretty and I thought it would be a fun little decoration on a bookcase. So let's go sit it up on the bookcase. We'll try it there. If that doesn't work, I may use it as a storage container. Okay, so I have an old paint by number piece of art on this bookcase here and it has some green in it. So I'm gonna try it there and let's see what it looks like. So now we have this enamelware piece and I want to give you an idea of how to use it to organize. So let's go to my butler's pantry. So this is my pantry and up here is like the open part. I'll show you the whole thing in a minute. But this used to be a closet in the hall and my kitchen's right here. So it's like right out the door of my kitchen. And the doors were always left open and the whole thing was the messiest pantry you've ever seen. Like it was a hot mess. So I decided to turn it into a functional space that I could use to serve like breakfast from, desserts during holidays and different things like that. And with it being open, we are much more conscious of keeping it tidy. So here is, I wanted to use this round one for an idea to store all my oils in the pantry. So once you stop eating a lot of processed foods, you don't need as much of this kind of pantry space except for vegetables that can be left out instead of the refrigerator. And I have a place for that in the top. But, oh, we need to put the cereal up. And then I've got another box of cereal. I think I'll put the cookies right here because I don't have another box to put these cookies in. And my daughter's almost finished with them. So we'll put them right there. So that's done. And then the way we hide this is we have this curtain, and this curtain is made, it's actually it's a tablecloth. Okay, let's go up here and I'll show you around up here. Here's my pantry. If you've never seen it before. I did a whole DIY video on how I transformed it, and I'll put a link in the description to that. But things have moved around a little bit, so when you go to see that video, you'll notice that like these glass jars on the bottom were on the second shelf, but I had to move all that around. So as we learn to live with it, we realized that these glass jars, we really needed them down here so they could be easy to get into. I decided to put the cute little green one. I decided to use it for storage down here. Okay, so now that we've done some decorating, I want to talk about the ideas that my niece did up in Maine. So I'm gonna put some pictures up here and talk you through. right outside of her kitchen, she has this cute little area that she decorated with kitchen, vintage, and some new kitchen items. So she's big into thrifting like I am. She goes to the Goodwill bins up there. She keeps her eyes out at thrift stores, secondhand stores. She looks everywhere. And those are great places to look for enamelware. So let's take a moment and talk about where to shop for enamelware. In where I live, I was not finding it easily in Goodwill or secondhand stores. I was finding it more in vintage shops. And when I say vintage, I didn't know this until recently, but something is considered vintage if it's 40 years or older. It's an antique if it's 100 years or older. Now that's what I read. So if you have another resource that says differently, let me know. But from what I understand, vintage is 40 years old and older, and antiques are 100 years old and older. And the enamelware kind of falls in that vintage bracket unless you get a really, really old piece. So places to shop. Thrift stores, antique stores, secondhand stores, garage sales might be a great place to find it for a good price. Online auctions might have it. Online vintage stores and antique stores. There's a group of people that are on Instagram that have, I think, Etsy shops. They sell stuff. One of my favorite enamelware websites, and I've never bought anything because it's so expensive, but it is so amazing and beautiful, and that is Dreamy White Farmhouse. I'll put a link in the description. But she goes to France and she buys vintage stuff, antique stuff, and then she sells it. And she has some of the most amazing like coffee pots and pictures on her site. So beautiful. But so those are a lot of the best places. And then as far as new, I would look at the Hearth and Hand collection at Target. I'll put a link in the description. I would also look at Kirkland's. IKEA has some pieces. In fact, I have a little piece. Let me go get it and show you. Okay, I'm back. But I have this little picture from IKEA, and the price isn't on it, so I don't know how much I paid. But they used to have tons of these that you could buy, and they're super cute, and they look so precious with like some wildflowers in them or just some cuttings from your yard. So if you have an IKEA, this little enamelware is so cute. Okay, so back to Valerie. Let's talk about this other idea. So Valerie has this area outside of her kitchen, and she decorated it with some kitchen stuff, and she used her enamelware colander. And what started this whole thing was a stack of enamelware colanders that she sent me and said, hey, you should write a post on enamelware. And I was like, that's a great idea. So, so she had a stack of the most beautiful different colors. And so she used a white one as a part of this decoration. She used a picture on top of the shelf way up at the top. And she has a small little spoon that she incorporated in the area with the wooden spoons. So that is a way of creating like a whole ensemble of your enamelware pieces into your kitchen or dining room decoration. Let's see, so we've talked about pots and pans. Oh, mugs and cups. Valerie also has some mugs. So we took and designed her windowsill with the enamelware mugs and then put succulents and plants in them. And how cute is that? Isn't that just such a cute idea? What a fun idea. And what a fun way to find those old little mugs and repurpose them. So, and I think we've pretty much covered everything. If I think of anything else, I'll come back. But right now I wanted to tell you about what happened at our house with a storm recently. My cat was asleep on the couch over here, sound asleep. And if you know our cat Kit, he parties all night and he sleeps all day, and he sleeps hard. He sleeps like a drunk man, upside down with his arms stretched out, like he is out to the world like a baby. And my husband has a weather alarm, and the weather alarm went off and started making this loud siren noise. And my cat sat up and looked, which nothing ever wakes up this cat. And he was like, his ears were back, and he was like, what is that noise? I'm getting out of here. And so he disappeared. And normally he's not a disappearing cat. Like, he doesn't normally hide. So my husband and I sat here for a minute. We were like, okay, they're saying a tornado's not far from us. So we live in Florida. We don't normally get a lot of tornadoes unless it's a hurricane. But it's not a hurricane. This is just bad weather. So my husband and I got an alarm on the phone, and that's when we decided to take cover in our laundry room. And if you've been in my laundry room, you have a Dutch door on one side and you have a door on the other. So we went into the laundry room, and I'm gonna show you how that's set up. And we were sitting on the floor. And please, my laundry room's probably a mess, so don't judge me. Okay, so this is our laundry room, and that's a Dutch door to the garage. The garage door was down. And this is the other door. So we had this door shut, and we were sitting on the floor because there's really nowhere to sit. And all of a sudden, we started feeling wind coming underneath the door through the house out, I'm assuming out into the garage. You would think the other way around, right? And so I was like, where's that wind coming from? Is there a door open? Like, did a door come open in our house? And we could hear trees falling outside. It was a little on the scary side. So my husband and I literally was holding onto his arm, and I had visions of the roof, the house, like coming off the ground, because I had visions of the Wizard of Oz. So anyway, so I was like scared, really scared. And so we started praying, the Lord is my shepherd, together. And a peace came over me, and I was like, no matter what, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. So we rode out the storm. The wind kept blowing underneath the door, and the doors would rattle, but we were okay. And once it was past, we looked at the radar on our phone, and once it was past, we came out, and I just knew a door had come open. I just knew. Y'all, that was so scary. We had a tornado go over us. Some stuff down over there near you. Who does? Oh, yeah, there's like a tree. Oh, yeah, we got trees down in the back. Oh, something took down Ken's fence. Oh, no. Oh, what tree is that?
What tree where? Oh, back there?
Wait, our neighbor's fence fell down. Do you think it was that bird thing that dropped it?
No, I don't think so. Look at our bird.
Well, the bird thing's laying on it.
Well, that wouldn't have knocked the fence down, Linda.
It's attached to the fence. See, it was bolted to the fence.
That was it. I think it was just wind. But I see.
There's a tree down and back there. Wow, that was our tornado, Marty. That was our tornado. So I walked around every room, and no doors were open. The front door was shut and locked. The back doors, the screened-in porch doors, all the doors were shut and locked. So I couldn't figure out how that wind was getting in the house. That just was so weird. See, in this video, my niece and I are riding around, and there were trees that they had to cut off of roads everywhere. There were trees in everybody's yards, limbs, debris. It was everywhere, just everywhere. And so for the last couple of days, the sounds of nature outside have been equaled with the sound of saws and blowers. Lots of work going on, and from what I can tell, everybody's safe. Nobody was injured or died that I've heard. So that has been a praise, an answer to a prayer. So that's the excitement that happened here. And and all the fun enamelware decorating. I'm just so thankful that I got to share some ideas with you, and I hope that you've been inspired to pull out, repurpose, and use some of those vintage items to decorate your home. It's a lot of fun and it adds character to your decor. So I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I hope you come back and join me again, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.